Influence is a huge part of leadership. How do you get others to buy into your ideas?
There are two things I'd say to that. First of all, you have to walk the talk and really role model behavior. And you can't influence if they feel that it's duplicitous. So an example I give, that's on the news right now are those politicians who are saying stay home, and yet they were traveling. I mean, that I think really erodes trust. I think the other thing I would say in terms of influencing is you don't necessarily as the leader have the best ideas. So I think it's at times humbling, but also refreshing to have a leader say, here's an idea I have. I'm just thinking out loud. You can shoot it down. You probably have a better idea because you're closer to it. And I think the whole process of influencing is when people see themselves as being able to have an impact on what the decision is going to be. And then it's not just you coming up with the answers. Oftentimes the best answers are what you can cook up as a team. And if you show an openness to that, I think that builds trust and respect, and that way you ultimately will have more influence. Because I always say you have to lead by inspiring as opposed to by authority. If you have to say, hey, I'm the boss, I think you've lost the battle. I think that you've lost your ability to inspire people. They should want to follow you because of what you represent and how you are, not because of who you are. That's my mantra.
If you get them involved, they feel like this is their own plan, their own ideas versus it's coming from the higher up or somebody else. You may have heard of this study where they had people create or build the tables, the IKEA, the $20 coffee tables. So they actually had two groups. So one group built the table, and they didn't tell them it was from IKEA. They just built the table and they asked them, how much do you think it would cost? Another group of people came into these already built tables. And what they found was the people who actually built the tables valued it at a lot higher cost than the people who did not build the tables.
Absolutely. I think there's a lot to be said for having to work at something, then you appreciate it, as opposed to having it given to you. Definitely. I agree with that.
How do we improve the diversity we have in senior leadership roles in healthcare?
I think, first of all, you have to identify it as an objective, a strategic imperative. We're in the process of going through that right now. We're going to be creating a small internal group to have a look at developing a policy and a strategy. This policy has to reflect your strategy. And I think you have to look for diversity on your board. It has to start at the governance level and with senior management and in frontline and so on. So sometimes it's about providing opportunities and getting rid of systemic discrimination in the sense that somebody may need that extra little bit of coaching or experience in order to get to that next level. So if you adopt that as a strategic imperative, then you recognize that person may not be able to get to that next level unless you give them that extra push or that extra coaching and, ultimately helping them grow. You won't get to the senior executive level unless you go through those other stages and those other experiences. It has to start somewhere. So I also am a believer in giving people special opportunities through special projects where they may be reporting to you directly or to the senior management team, and having that visibility and recognizing, wow, this person is very capable. I might not have seen that person in that light had you not created that opportunity. So it's having a strategy, having the policies, changing the culture, and that, as you know, is the longest piece of the journey. And then really, doing things differently, because unless you do things differently, you're going to end up with a lack of diversity. So you really have to be aware of it.
When we talk about coaching, typically at organizations, coaching is for performance. If someone's not meeting their basic job requirements and they're coached to do so. Do you think coaching can be used now more so as, optimizing our leaders?
Yeah, coaching to me should cover the full spectrum. Behavior modification, performance optimization, and then really expanding that into growth. So, it can start for remedial purposes, and next thing you know, the person's reacted so well, they're growing, and they're growing past where you thought they might have taken themselves beforehand. So coaching can, to me, the best coaching is one where it's through positive reinforcement and behavior modification, having the person want to change or do things differently, and also feeling good about it. That's, I think, where you're going to see the lasting effect.
Yeah, and at VON, are you investing in coaching for growth and leadership development at this time?
Yes, not enough, but it's certainly an area of focus. So we do have some executive coaching for new leaders. I mentor a couple of internal people, even as the CEO, and I think it's providing those opportunities, and it's something that as we develop a more formal succession plan for the organization, we're going to be investing more in that. And it really is multifaceted. It's not just, taking a course. It's on-the-job coaching, having a mentor, researching things and additional readings on, the person's personal time, really tailoring it to where they're at, what they need, and what pace you can push them to move through, because part of that growth is about making sure that it's balanced and that it's through osmosis, and that you're not force fitting something that the person may not be ready for as well.
Yeah, because it is a two-way stream, right? We want the person to be ready as well.